Hello again, and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today, everything is new. There's a new aesthetic, is the fancy word. I think it's Greek, aesthetic. There's a new aesthetic to the show. I'm in a new house. Everything is new. This is a little bit of a test video. The reason I'm doing Kiss today, I'm doing Kiss Classics, is because it's an easy one. I wanted to do one that was kind of simple for me. It's a little bit of a test. Everything is new. The sound is new. The lighting is new. The position of the camera is new. Where I'm standing is new. I might test this. When I first moved in here, after I was in here for a couple days, I started to, it was obvious to me that I would put the camera here where it is now. But then as I was cleaning this room out, and it's still quite messy, we always love to apologize for our messes. So I do apologize for the mess that you can see. There's more mess behind the camera that you can't see, but I do apologize for that. That should be cleaned up, I hope, in the next video. So I'm trying this, and I'm starting with Kiss just because I feel comfortable talking about Kiss. But I was thinking that I might, in future episodes, as I start to clean this up, I realized maybe it's better if the camera is there, and then I'll be talking to you like this, saying, hello again, and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. But I'll pivot and go back here. So, and I've got the windows open. In this new house, I've got windows. In the other house, I had the windows over here to my right. That was the only windows were to my right. Here, I've got a window, big window in front of me. I'm looking outside. All my neighbors can see me. I've got a ravine back here beside me, so lots and lots of natural light here. I'm not sure how it's going to look. I tested it just briefly to see. I gotta make sure I hit my mark. There, I think I'm on my mark now. I don't want to stand too far back. Or maybe you won't be able to hear me. I think I'm not backlit. At least it shouldn't be too bad anyway. And anyway, my setup is all, it's temporary. I'm not sure how long it'll last. For this video, it's going to be for the whole video. But in future videos, I might play around with it a little bit. I got to do something because it kind of sucked to set this up. And I got to do that every time. In my other house, I had it set up and I never touched anything. It was very consistent. This is a little bit different. So, hello, how are you? We haven't seen each other like this for quite some time. Thank you for everybody who came to the live stream. The live stream in my real time is actually tonight. As I'm recording this, it's Tuesday, August 19th. It's around, it's just about 3:30. The live stream for me starts at 7 o'clock, so by the time this comes up, the live stream will be over. Thank you for coming. It was a great live stream, maybe the best one ever. So, and I maybe told some things about my new house. And I've got, it's not a crowd here, but I do see some activity out here. All right? So, now that that is out of the way, I feel very self-conscious today. I'm going to talk about Kiss Classics. As I said, this is I guess a pretty easy one for me to talk about. This is part of, and it's a CD. It's part of, there was this one. This is the only Kiss studio album proper. I gotta hit my mark. I gotta remember where it is. I don't have it marked on the floor, but I know where it is. It's on a certain point in a tile. Sonic Boom is the only proper Kiss record that I haven't talked about yet, because I was hoping to get the vinyl version of it. I don't think I'm going to get that. It's very hard to find. I'm not going to do Sonic Boom, but within Sonic Boom is this one. Look at it, folds out like this. It's a big. Remember, I'm not talking about Sonic Boom, but it's this one I'm going to talk about. Kiss. I can do this. Kiss Classics. All right, I can't see the camera, so I guess I'm holding in the right position. Kiss Classics I'm going to talk about, and what this is, it's a re-recording of 15 Kiss Classics with a K. You know, Kiss, anything that has a K sound, they always write it with a K, including this one. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, it is with a K. Of course it is. So that's what I'm going to do today. Oh, and here it is there. It's also listed on the back of Sonic Boom. There it is now. And you know, a lot of people, they don't like when bands re-record old songs. I mean, some are better than others. I don't have a problem with it at all. I think if especially if you don't like the original of something, maybe you're going to like the new version. If you love the original of it and you don't like the new one, who cares? You can still go back and listen to the original. It's not like they take the original away. Everybody got so mad when Ozzy re-recorded. Well, Ozzy didn't re-record, but they recorded. They took away Bob Daisley's bass and Lee Kerslake's drums from Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, and they were replaced by Robert Trujillo and Mike Borden. A lot of people didn't like that. I didn't care because I don't think I still have ever listened to a note of those albums. I just didn't care. I should go back and listen to them, especially now that I'm still in Ozzy mode. Maybe there will be more on that in future episodes. So now overall, you can't go into this expecting to like them better. Just because they've re-recorded them, it doesn't mean that you're going to like them more. And I don't think their purpose is to say, hey, we want to re-record these old songs so guys like Mike Pratt and whoever else, can be happier. I doubt that's it. I'm sure it has something to do with rights, or that they don't own their music, so they can hit my mark. They can license it out for whatever they want. I guess it's something like that. I think as far as re-recordings go, this is pretty good. I have to say there are even a couple of songs I think I like better than the original versions. I've talked before. I think the first 3 Kiss records, the self-titled, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill, they don't sound very good. Not that the ones, I don't know if there's anything from Dressed to Kill on here. Rock and Roll All Night I think is the only one. I'm not necessarily sure that they sound better, any of the songs on here. There's at least one that does sound better. A couple that are really, really close. But they're it's cool to hear. If you like a song, why not hear a different version of it, a different take? Although these versions, they're very, very incredibly, I would even say painstakingly similar to the originals, some of them. All the little nuances and I mean, if you really, really know Kiss songs, I was, and this came out in like 2009. I was shocked at how well they replicated these. I assume what they did was, listen to them and had lots of notes, and they had, I don't know who produced it. I think it was self-produced, produced by Paul Stanley, co-produced by Greg Collins. At least Sonic Boom. I don't know about the Kiss Classics. But they obviously, I would imagine this was very pieced together. They took bits and pieces and ad-libs and sang it just like it was on the original records, and then, did it again for this. Am I making sense? And overall, I have no problem with this. I would even say, as a matter of fact, I like it. I think this is a very worthwhile bonus disc. And it was actually recorded as a Japanese only, like a standalone record called, I can't remember what it's called in Japanese, but the name translates in English to something like Legends, Kiss Legends or something like that. And it was a Japanese only release, I think in 2008. Then they threw it in as a bonus disc along with the Buenos Aires DVD, which is right there. Yeah. So as a whether it's a standalone or a bonus disc, I think it's pretty good. All right. So I will go through it track by track now. I did take notes. I did listen to it today on my walk, my exercise. And, I'm familiar with it, but I wanted to write some little notes about some, and there are, as I said, some pretty small differences here. Some maybe more than others, but I'll try to go through it track by track. And I've talked about every one of these songs in different forms before, so if you don't like it, I guess, Nimodo, you can watch another video. All right, so it opens with Deuce, as you would expect. I've said this countless times. I love Deuce. It's the first Kiss song I ever heard. Alive was the first record I ever got in 1976, and Deuce is the opening track. So Deuce was really the first, and I'm going to call it heavy metal. Deuce was the first heavy metal hard rock song, whatever I heard. I will always, always, always love Deuce. It sounds, I think, mostly on this album. And by the way, I think overall, all the songs, they just sound a little bit more modern. There's not much difference in how they play them, but obviously sonically, they do sound different. And I think Paul's voice, I'm sure both Paul's and Gene's voice were fixed up. I don't know to what extent, but I feel like Paul's voice was helped more than Gene's voice overall. But yeah, Deuce, for me, it's a little bit more, it's a little louder. I think it's more powerful. Gene's scream at the end, after the main solo, and then during that kind of bridge section and into the outro solo, Gene's yeah scream is perfect. I don't know how much of that is real and how much is fake, but it sounds really good. Love it. Next is Detroit Rock City. Of course, there's no intro to this. They don't have the newscaster Pontiac Michigan Youth, that radio intro. That's not on here. I think Paul's voice on here, it's not bad, but I not just on Detroit Rock City, but I think on this album in general, it's not. He doesn't sing with the intensity that he did, as you would expect. I'm not blaming the guy. I'm not saying anything bad about him. It's just a fact. He sounds great on this, whether it's help or not, but he just doesn't sing as strongly or intensely. But Detroit Rock City is great, and I think any version is great. Next is Shout Out Loud. Man, this one maybe at least more than the other two, and there are a few others like this. Identical. The intro going into the first vocal, Paul's vocal. If you don't feel, what's oh my God, I've been listening to this song for 50 years. What's the opening line? If you don't feel good, there's a way you could. Don't sit there brokenhearted. No. The night's begun, and you want some fun. Do you think you're gonna find it? Think you're gonna find it. Up to that point, up to the vocal, it sounds identical. There's another one like this too, maybe more than one. And I wondered, I should conduct an experiment later. I should have conducted the experiment earlier so I could have presented the results. Here, if you Shazammed this version, would it show up as the version from Kiss Classics, or would it show up from Detroit Rocks or from Destroyer? From the beginning of Shout Out Loud to where the vocals come in is identical. It's amazing how perfectly they replicated it. And they've got the piano during this, the shout it out, ding 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 ding, those kind of descending piano notes that's in there. It's great. A lot of backing vocals on this whole record on Kiss Classics. The backing vocals sound also identical to the original versions. It's like they took, I don't know, I guess they're not allowed to take any parts of their original recordings and put them on here, but the backing vocals sound perfect on every song. Next is Hotter Than Hell. This one, I feel like it's a little bit slow and lifeless, especially the intro. Once the vocal comes in, it seems to pick up or something. But that first, when it first comes in, the Hotter Than Hell intro, I feel like it's a little bit slow, a little bit plodding. Next is Calling Dr. Love. Man, I love this. I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it better than the original, which is almost impossible because Calling Dr. Love is one of my favorite Kiss songs, top 5 for sure. I could make the argument that it's number 1 along with, I don't know what else, King of the Nighttime World and Let Me Know, and at least one more on here, but Calling Dr. Love is fantastic. This has all of Gene's, there's a lot of ad-libs in this song, ooh, and yeah, things like that. All the same as the original version on Rock and Roll Over. It's amazing, again, how well they did that. I'm sure it was all pieced together. I love Calling Dr. Love. It's got all the little ad-libs and the nuances. Next is Love Gun. One, again, the backing vocals on this are perfect, just like they are on the Love Gun version. One small thing that I did notice, and maybe I've misheard this for 50 years, in the original version, I'm sure in the chorus, Paul sings, "You pull the trigger of my love gun." And on this one, I'm sure he's singing, "You pull the trigger on my love gun." Not on, not of, but on. That's how I hear it anyway. Just pointing that out. Next is I Was Made for Loving You. This I do like better than the original. And I like I Was Made for Loving You. A lot of people don't like it for, I guess, obvious reasons. I like it. But I think this one is maybe more than the others. This one is better than the original. I think it's got less of a disco feel, more of a rock feel, which is maybe why I like it. Paul's, that, the high voice, the falsetto, I can't get enough. He sings that perfectly, probably with help, but it's amazing. I love I Was Made for Loving You. Next is Heaven's on Fire. You know, this has the Paul introduces this on Live 3 with you know this one. This got one of those. This is one of those songs. You go, oh yeah, I know that one, and it's the one. And but in this, the first millisecond is cut off. And I remember when I downloaded this many years ago when this first came out, I thought maybe I downloaded one that maybe someone ripped it wrong or something. But it's not. It is the first millisecond is cut off from Paul's intro. Other than that, it's I like Heaven's on Fire. It's an excellent song like that. And I remember in the video. Do you remember Gene in the video when he was first of all he was wearing that ridiculous wig, and Kiss likes to point. You know, Ace was always to the left and to the right when he was singing New York Groove and Shock Me. You know, like that. They were always pointing, and Gene is always pointing. And in the video for Heaven's on Fire, Gene is what's the chorus of Heaven's on Fire? Feel my heat taking you higher. Burn with me, Heaven's on fire. Paint the sky with desire. Angel fly, Heaven's on fire. Burn with me. Jim was singing. Burn with me, Heaven's on fire. So stupid. Next is Lick It Up. This is identical, maybe even more than anything else so far. Probably more than anything on this whole record. Identical to the studio version, the title track from Lick It Up, which for me is the best my favorite non. Oh, there's a cat. Lots of cats around here. Oh my God, it's a nightmare walking my dogs. This is one that I would like to do the Shazam test and see if Shazam could detect this as being from Classics and not from the album Lick It Up. It's identical. Next is I Love It Loud. This, for me, the drum intro, you know, it's got that, you know, that big, booming, bombastic drum intro. It sounds a little bit off for me in this one, and it's still kind of loud. It doesn't sound like Eric Singer's typical playing. It's got that big cannon sound. It just, and I can't explain what it is, but it just sounds a little bit off. Other than that, it's very good, and it also has the fake ending, just like the original one from Creature of the Night. And I just realized now I should maybe go back and compare the track length of each song. Maybe that's what I'll do when I get bored and have lots of free time, which I always do. Next is Forever. This is another one, maybe even more than Lick It Up. It's identical to the version from Hot in the Shade, which sucks. That album is garbage, crap. Hot in the Shade sucks, though not as bad as Crazy Nights. And I love Forever. It's possibly even my favorite Kiss ballad. I don't know. Do I like it better than Hard Luck Woman? It's possible, but I like it better than Reason to Live, and I like it better than what else? Every Time I Look at You, and whatever other Kiss ballads there are. Forever is a fantastic song, and this version is excellent. Next is Christine 16. Now, Christine 16, I'm sure I mentioned this when I did the Love Gun episode a year or two ago. It's possible that Christine 16 is, and I think always has been, my favorite Kiss song, my one favorite Kiss song if I could pick one. And by the way, I noticed the camera, I feel like it's sloping a little bit down like this. And I've got it propped up with my phone charger, like this thick, because it was really sloped, but I'm noticing now I feel like I have to kind of stand like this to be upright. I love Christine 16. And you know, it's funny, I saw, you know, I guess at this point it was last week, this guy that's running the show up there in the United States, he just supposedly, he said, handpicked Kiss to be given the Kennedy Center honors. And a friend of mine said Christine Epstein, that, you know, they should play Christine Epstein, which I thought was pretty clever. But oh man, Christine 16. I don't care what you think about Christine 16. I don't usually say things like this to girls your age. But when I saw you coming out of school that day I knew, I've got to have you. I've got to have you. I don't care what you think about that. I loved it when I was 7 years old, and I love it now when I'm almost 56 years old. I will not be a part of cancel culture. I'm not woke. I love Christine 16. It really, really is great. And this is another one. I can't say that I didn't write anything about it just because it's so great. It's one that how could I say that it's better than the original? Because that would mean this version from Kiss Classics is my favorite Kiss song out of all of them. There's a motorcycle. It's nice. It's so quiet in this neighborhood. I love it. And I can't say that, but oh my God, this version of Christine 16 is amazing. I love it. I love maybe I shouldn't like this song because it's got that kind of boogie woogie piano, which I typically don't like, but I love it in Christine 16 or Christine Epstein if you choose to call it that. Next is Do You Love Me? Similar to I Love It Loud, the drum intro. It's a little bit off. Again, I can't really put my finger on what it is, but to me it just doesn't get it exactly right. It's very close. But you know what is not off is Paul Stanley. They still got the those are in there. I think he does that 2 or 3 times, that song, and that's in there. I love Do You Love Me? It's a great song. Always loved it and love this version too. And it does have, you know, the of course it has the end, that kind of, it's not really lyrics, I guess, the ad-libs of Paul Stanley kind of, you know, talking. And, you know, I'm so tired of everybody saying that. And, you know, I just got to know if you really, 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 really love me. So come on. That's all in there. And it's perfect. Love Do You Love Me? 2 more. Next is Black Diamond. It's got the, you know, there's the, when it goes from the out on the streets for a living into the hit it. There's the drumstick count. The count-in is not there. Before they hit it. Eric Singer sings it, of course. It's always the drummer singing this. Peter Criss sang it. Eric Carr sang it when he was in Kiss. And Eric Singer sings it, or sang it during his tenure with Kiss. And he sings it here. And it does have that weird, slow kind of fade at the end that it gets slowed down. That's on there too. And then the last song is Rock and Roll All Night, which is pretty much identical to the studio version. Maybe, again, similar to Deuce, the first song. Just a little bit louder, punchier. Maybe not necessarily more energy, but just more oomph, I guess is maybe the way to say it. All right? So, that is all. I've made it through my first episode in this new house. And as I said, it might, the surroundings might change a little bit. My cat is sleeping here. My cat always has to be near me. More in this, she always was, but since I've lived in this house, won't leave my side. She's right here. She's been there sleeping the whole time. All right? So, yeah, I still have some work to do. By the way, I'm on the 2nd floor. This house where I live now has 2 floors. And who cares about that? I probably told you all about that. Did I say you all? You all, not y'all. I would never say that. God, okay, it's time to wrap this up. This has probably been close to half an hour. Far too long to talk about Kiss Classics. But I will say thank you for watching. Oh, I gotta get this. I can't get any closer because there's crap here in front of me. Until the next episode, which, as I said, might look different. This has been Kiss Killers. No, Kiss. What's it called? Kiss Classics. Yes.